Hi, I'm following along with Paul McWhorter's Raspberry Pi Pico W lessons. We're on number 83, and today he was uh, introducing us to using interrupts in MicroPython. Um, he went through quite a bit of how to use them and everything, and gave us homework to uh, use a button, wire up a button, and have the interrupt so you could debounce it. And from what he showed us in the code, and also on this screen here, you can see that he gave us, this is his code running, his rock solid code running. And you can see he gave us a little tidbit of what he was what he was thinking about doing on that. And I'll be honest, I've thought about that for a while. Actually, when I first was thinking about it, I said, I know a way I would like to do it. It's a little bit different than he did, but I spent probably 2 hours trying to figure out what he was doing with this code here, T down and T up. And I tried several things to get it to work. And I got several um, codes that would work 95% of the time, but they would every once in a while it would glitch or something, and uh, it just so probably not as rock solid as he's going to do it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with it. But I knew that I had in my mind that I know a rock solid way of doing it as well, and I just had to figure out a few things along the way. When I was doing Paul's lessons for the regular Raspberry Pi that we were doing, um, we were using the GPIO library, but I had switched over. They have this RPIO library, and um, they have a little bit, has some few things in there that you can use to make your code experience a little bit easier. And I knew I had tried interrupts with that, and with these interrupts, if you notice when you're defining your interrupt, you are um, defining most of the stuff that you're doing, and then you're adding a debounce timeout in milliseconds. And it tells you down here that if debounce timeout milliseconds is set, interrupt callbacks will not start until a specified milliseconds have passed since your last interrupt. And I, I remembered that, and I thought, well, we just learned about timers, so it may be overkill to do it the way I'm doing it, and Paul might be able to show us a better way for sure. But I knew I could probably use timers and get it to be rock solid. So the only thing that I had to worry about on there was uh, I wanted to stop. I know in Arduino you can stop the IRQs so you can do some work without getting interrupts coming in when you don't want them. And I thought MicroPython should have the same thing. A lot of theirs is init and deinit and everything. And um, I tried it and it didn't seem to work the way I wanted to. So I looked around for the syntax of using it, and um, several places said, well, that's probably not the way you want to do it. And the way to do it is to set your callback, or your what do they call it? They call it the handler, is to set your handler to none. So that stops you. The interrupts keep coming, but there's no handler for it, so it doesn't do it. So anytime you want to stop your code from executing uh, the interrupt handler, you just make it none. So that's what I decided to do. So you can see I got like 25 lines of code here. Um, So from machine, I had to import the pin and then timer because I'm using a one-shot timer to debounce with. And importing time, I'm not even sure whether I'm using time in there or not. I'm pretty sure I'm not using time. I could have left that out. So we're defining a button pin. We're defining the lead onboard LED. I didn't feel like wiring one up, so I'm just defining the onboard LED to toggle it. And I'm defining a timer just defining it before I initialize it, just giving it a name so that um, just I think this is a better way of doing it, that you don't reuse the timer, or you can reuse that T_I timer over and over again without your functions trying to rebuild the timer each time. So that's what I'm doing. So the thing about this is that you end up with two callbacks. A callback for the IRQ. When you get IRQ, it's going to go back, it's going to go to the CB callback. And all I'm doing on here is I'm disabling the handler, setting the handler to none. And then I'm setting a one-shot timer, and you can put whatever period you want in here. I tried 50 and it seemed to work, but I changed it to 100 to see if it was any kind of delay or something. I guess if you can hit the button fast enough, 100 might be too much, but it worked, and that's where I left it when I was finished testing and everything. And so your one-shot timer, it's going to do that, and it's going to use the callback of callback, so interrupt callback, I figured, my naming scheme. And I did use a global. Shame on me, Keith. But it was only reason I need is to keep a track of, to show that we are incrementing on our count when we're doing that. I said, I'm not going to mess with anything on that. So we're set up, the CT is count started at 0. And so basically what I did is, like I say, every time we get an interrupt, we're going to get this callback. And I don't know if I actually needed this if button pin dot value is in there or not. I think I could have just skipped that part, but I put it in there just the way I coded first time, and I didn't take it out. Increasing that, and we're just printing the toggle and toggling the LED. And then what you have to do is you have to reset the callback after you get finished with this timer and do your work in your handler here. You set the callback handler back to callback so that you can start reacting to interrupts again. So way that works is the first time you get a toggle, you're going to get a callback, or I know why I needed this. I do need that because if you release the button, it's going to do another uh, interrupt, and then but when you get finished the interrupt and you wait your 100 milliseconds, your pin value could be low. This could end up in the pin value could be low. So I did need to put that if pin value is in there. I've so much going on this afternoon that I haven't forgot why I put that in there. But that's what it was. But then you set, like I said, if it is 1, this is the same as saying if pin value equals 1, because this is going to be true or it's going to be 1. So either way. And that's about all there is to it. I mean, except for the double function here, I thought to myself, this would be a very good thing where you could maybe create your own IRQ class that included debounce. You could call it IRQ DB. I might try that before next week, but if not, somebody else can maybe try it if they want to, and you could just put your uh, add that to your IRQ that you like the regular Raspberry Pi one did, and you could put it in there, and then in your class you could set up your timer the way it was. Anyhow, I'm going to show it running and show how rock solid it is, and let's get on with it. So I got it started up, and I'm not going to show the board, but I got the LED on board blinking. Press, 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 wiggle press. Nothing's happening. Press, 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 press. Short, long, long. Short, 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 short. Long, 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 medium, wiggle, press. Might have seen one flicker in there, but it actually, I could feel the button come up on my finger when I was um, wiggling it around. So it was definitely a press and release. But I guess I'm trying now to get over 100 milliseconds or less than 100 milliseconds in between presses. And I can probably get it up to over 100 milliseconds or less than 100 milliseconds. So this 100 probably needs to come back down to 50 or something to do it. But I just wanted to show it working, and uh, like I say, I am really interested to see what Paul come up with, because with the hints he gave in his that little line of code, and what he was talking about using 6 milliseconds in his uh, interrupt handler, I just couldn't figure out how he was going to do it. So I look forward to finding a better way that Paul come up with doing it. But I came up with a rock solid one using things that Paul has taught us in the past. Anyhow, that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.